Welcome to the Beer Guys Radio Show. I'm technologically challenged, but we made it. We got it here. We have done it. We're in the studio this week. In-studio guest is always nice, Brian.
Yes.
The technology that we use to have remote guests is cool, but hanging out with cool people like these guys from Dry County Brewing Company is even better.
Yeah. And you said we're in the studio this week. We're in the studio almost every week.
We're in the studio every week.
Really?
Yeah.
Just not always with the guests.
I'll admit, I was trying to set something up new. I got some new technology that I was trying to use to monitor our stream in here. And we have a time that we have to get on our Facebook feed or they'll cancel us. We'll get canceled. And I was trying to get that going and I ran out of time. And Nate's poking me with a pen going, we got to go. We got to go. And so I was flustered.
So Tim has a new toy and he wants to play with it. He's annoyed that he has to do a show.
Well, the thing here is because of our wonderful studio guest, I can't see our comment feed. And I was trying to get something here where I could see our comment feed while we hung out with these guys.
Okay. Well, you can always look over your
Trey.
shoulder.
Hey, how you doing? Welcome. Trey's like, am I even here? They're talking about all this technology and stuff. Dry County Brewing, Kennesaw, Georgia. We have Trey Sinclair. We have Win Chastain. We have Ryan Polk in here. Brew it. I like your title, Win. I like your title. I want your title. Win is the director of operations.
That's what it says on their website.
Absolutely. Yeah, that might have been a misspelling, but I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah, they're like close. And let's leave it. Let's just keep it there. Let's just keep
spell check has been complaining about that every time I've had to do anything. So just an FYI.
yeah. When Brian started before he became co-host on the show, so you remember back when it was Aaron and I when we kicked the show off. I do. Back in those, you'd probably do too when we came around.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, but Brian was our field operative.
Yeah,
field operative. So he would go out the events. He actually had the sweetest deal of all of us because he didn't have to do show prep or production or anything.
That was nice.
He had to go to the events that we were busy like in the studio and that. So he got to go out. Hey, Brian, we can't make this free beer dinner. Can you go? All right.
They recognize my talent at drinking, so they
drinking
just sent
and
me
smoking cigars. Out
pretty much.
Yeah. That's accurate. That's accurate. So Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Thanks for joining us, y'all. We appreciate it. We're going to have a good time tonight here. And I apologize for not looking at you guys because of the way we need more cameras.
Yes. Yeah,
in the studio, but we're gonna have a good time, and Nate will let us know what's going on. He'll keep us posted there. But
Tim, you didn't introduce the most special guest of the evening,
JK back there.
Exactly.
JK on. See, you're super special. He's like, I don't even have to talk. I just have to. My presence alone is enough. And this is JK John Kinney. He owns the Wing Cafe in Marietta, Georgia. 27 years there, right, JK?
Damn, that's a long time.
Yeah, craft beer show as well. But you are having a craft beer symposium August 6th, 2:30 p.m. at the Wing, and you're going to have some powerhouses of Georgia, not just Georgia brewing, but these guys have a pedigree, we'll say. Right. Yeah, so we get Mitch Steele, who is now with New Realm, previously Stone Brewing. We have Travis Herman with Scofflaw Brewing Company, who previously with Russian River. We have Eric from Wild Heaven. I think that's actually Eric's first gig, isn't it? With what he had Trapeze in Athens, Georgia, very cool beer bar over there. And Spike Bukowski, Terrapin Beer Company, one of the founders there. And Spike is a character. And Spike has a car shaped like a beer can, a Hopsecutioner that he bought from JK.
Oh, okay.
Little history for you folks there. So
yeah,
if you see it around at the beer fests.
Yeah, I knew he had the car. I didn't know he bought it from you, man.
My wife hated it. Yeah. Nice. Did you cruise it around, JK, when you had it?
I did.
Yeah.
I rated a Foster's oil can.
Okay. A Foster's oil can. There you go. So there's some trivia. If you are out hanging around in the Georgia beer scene at beer festivals and you see the Hopsecutioner car from Terrapin, it was previously a Foster's oil can and previously Stroh's Light. Yeah. There you go. Now you know.
Wow.
World Fairs in
New Orleans World's Fair.
That's like great background research.
Boom.
There.
How about that,
that's
man?
Amazing.
Right? Yeah. Look at that, man.
How far back was that World's Fair? Late 70s.
They made 36 of them. That was it.
36.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that wasn't still a thing that was going on anymore.
The World's Fair.
Yeah, that.
Well, you know, I
yeah.
didn't know it, but I knew I hadn't heard about it in 3 decades or so.
In quite a while. I always saw it in context of like, this is the world of tomorrow. It's the microwaves and with little weird pointy gizmos sticking out of them and flying cars, which we still don't have.
Yeah.
You know.
I have t-shirts that are 3 decades.
What's that?
I have t-shirts that are 3 decades.
See, yeah, t-shirts that are 3 decades old, right?
I might have some that are
Stroh's,
pushing.
he's got a Stroh's Light t-shirt that's 3 decades.
I think I've got some old fraternity t-shirts that they're pushing. They're pushing.
Yeah.
They're not there yet because I'm not quite that old, but they're
getting there, right?
They're getting
there.
Yeah.
Now and just called like the world's falling apart fair. Is that what it's called?
That would be fair.
Something like that, right? Okay.
Yes, yeah, that would be just all the miserable stuff that's going on. You're like, this is the worst fair ever.
They'll just
This
change it.
sucks.
But it's awesome at the same time.
Yeah,
I don't
it's like,
know.
oh my
They'll
God.
just change it to the world, fair.
The world's fair.
Fair.
Their tagline is like, "Do you like a good train wreck?" So that'd be it.
It's not
Go
quite.
through the-
It's not actually on fire yet. So
It's not
Visit
too
the-
late to rename your symposium, Jack.
yeah.
Right? Yes. The world's
Fair.
fair. Everyone loves a good train wreck.
That's right.
See, before we even get going, we've already got great ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, Trey, talking of beer history, I was playing around on our YouTube page. You know, I've got a video of me and you hanging out before anything was going on there. Empty space, pretty much.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that on the drive over.
How about
here.
that?
Were y'all were the first behind the scenes tour of Dry County before
How
there
about
was a
that?
Dry County. For
Yeah.
sure.
And
I
that's
Is that around the time that you guys did that? Was it the Deer Park Festival in Kennesaw? Or like you were in a little
Yeah,
say
there's
like
the
a
big-
train
was it
garage
around
or
that
something
time?
like
Big
that?
Shanty Fest.
is that around the
Yeah.
time you started? Okay.
It was-
yeah.
That's probably what you're speaking of. Is probably a year after the YouTube video. The
Okay.
YouTube videos before we even had
Yeah.
equipment hooked up or anything. So
Yeah.
I didn't have gray hair. I don't even know if I had a beard.
See,
It's a long time ago.
he was still in diapers at
Yeah.
that time. You know, more history here. We'll actually do a show here in a minute, but Owen Ogletree was going to MC the Imposing, but poor Owen, he has to go to a
Really?
beer trip over in England, so he can't make it. But Owen has been around, and Owen's YouTube channel has like, we're here at Terrapin for their 2nd anniversary, you know, that kind of stuff. Owen goes back much further than we do in the beer history. But I was thinking between Owen's post, Bob Townsend's AJC articles, our videos, our posts, and that this is history. This is history, y'all. This is beer history that we're putting together, and people will be able to reference this for millennia, 1,000 years from now when the aliens finally invade.
You know, oddly enough, I bought my first homebrew kit when I went to school in Athens from Owen Ogletree when he owned Brewtopia. That's
See?
where I started
Yeah.
brewing beer.
Exactly.
As crazy as that sounds, that's where I started.
He apparently still
That's it,
owns
man.
something called Brewtopia because
Yeah,
it's Brewtopia events.
Yeah,
right.
exactly. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where I got my start. So yeah,
See,
Crazy.
See? That's nuts. Was that 30 years ago? Like everything?
like a nice, older woman. I just can't do
That's
that.
it. Say no.
That's the homebrew shop that was towards Broad from downtown.
Absolutely.
That's where I bought my first homebrew kit as well.
okay.
See?
So look at that.
Yeah.
How about that? The history, Georgia beer history. There, you're getting it all right here. These folks, everyone knows Spike, Terrapin Beer Company, so you know that, and you probably know Owen. A lot of folks, not just Georgia people, but with his beer tours all over the world. He Brewtopia events. If you want to go to Belgium or Italy or South Africa,
yeah.
or the UK and tour beer and wine, I've seen him
I think it's been to
drinking
Czechoslovakia
farm
too, and other
ciders and
places.
stuff.
Yeah.
So Czech Republic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been all
Good
over the
time.
place. See, his South Africa thing was really interesting. I was like, oh, how about that? That'd be fun to do. And
Yeah.
you don't really think about South Africa when you're thinking about craft beer scene, but they've got
It's
one.
growing.
So
Some cool hops coming out of there, but
Oh yeah, some good hops from South Africa. Awesome. Let's get rolling so we can talk about Dry County. You need more beer? All right.
we got dry glassware situation. over
Dry
here.
glassware brewing.
We like to say you are in a Dry County. Right.
Yes.
Yes, I currently
I am.
am very, very dry. All right, what are we doing? We doing more Summerfest? Okay, we're doing summer.
You just going the same? All right.
yeah.
That works for me. All right, the pouring action video.
The pouring of beers.
Yeah, so this beer, we're just trying to go kind of more traditional based. This is a very clean beer, just German, basically 90, probably 97% Pilsner malt. Your Saaz hops and some Hallertau hops. So just a very traditional German based. Kind of going back to what is beer. You know, everybody's doing all these adjuncts everywhere, but this is just kind of beer flavored beer, right? So
We're fans of beer flavored.
yeah,
beer.
no, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the premise behind this. Everybody's doing the Oktoberfest, and we'll get into that later. But Summerfest is just kind of a lighter version. Just it's like this is the Weihenstephaner yeast blend. It's a WLP 830 yeast blend. So just very traditional, everything out of the gate. We're going to do we have another version of this coming out soon. It's going to be 100% Pilsner malt, and we're going to do a Mandarina Bavaria.
I dig that.
So more instead of just a straight noble, a little more noble floral, just to be a little more refreshing, a little more kind of summery, kind of bring a little more floral action to it. But we started out with this one, just kind of give you a base, and then we'll kind of go from there. But that's the idea.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
That is a fantastic plan. Let's do some radio. Guys, everybody ready? You ready to rock, Trey?
We're ready.
We're ready. Let's do it, Nate.
Open up a tab, grab a seat, and pour a pint. It's time for the Beer Guys Radio Show.
You want free beer? Go to the brewery.
Dedicated to the art, science, and enjoyment of craft beer.
Yeah, what's wrong with the beer we got?
Now, here are your hosts, Tim Dennis and Brian Hewitt.
And welcome to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We're broadcasting from the Beer Guys Radio Studios. And this week we are talking with Dry County Brewing Company. I'm Tim Dennis, and with me as always is my good friend and co-host, Brian Hewitt.
Hey, Tim. So we've got a full studio today. Joining us today, we have Trey Sinclair, the founder and president of Dry County Brewing Company. We also have Wynn Chastain, the director of operations, and Ryan Polk, the head brewer. We're going to talk about RTD cocktails, expansion plans, new beers, Mexican lagers, and probably some other stuff that I hadn't even gotten to yet on the list of things we're going to talk about.
We have a guest in studio that is so cool and so above us. He doesn't even have to get on the mic. He sits back and drinks, and we're going to talk about him.
He just goes by an acronym, JK.
That's it, JK.
That's it, just JK.
JK.
Yeah.
He's like, no, is that your real name? He's like, no, just kidding.
Just kidding. Yeah, exactly.
John Kenny from the Wing. Big craft beer symposium coming up there August 6th. Brian, going to have some heavyweights in the industry there sharing beer info. It'll be a good time.
Yeah, good stuff.
Absolutely. Guys, we're in here, and I've got a beer here. I'm just so confused, Trey,
Befuddled.
I have a Summerfest in my left hand, and I have an Oktoberfest in my right hand. And this is July. I think we should all remember this is July.
Yes.
I guess we're far enough in. We could call this late July now, right?
Yeah, I think so. What is this? The 27th?
So.
Yeah, okay.
I think
This
so.
would be late
This
July.
is late July. So it's not really the 27th. You're wrong. So, but we are here we're in July, and we've got our Oktoberfest beers. And I know that, is this officially released yet, Trey, your Oktoberfest?
This was shipped to distribution last Thursday.
Okay.
So it'll start hitting the market this week. We are not releasing it in the tap room until August 5th, I believe is the day.
Okay. And see,
a respectable date.
August 5th.
Yeah.
So I have, this is a personal thing. And when a brewer brings a beer to us, I want to drink it. I appreciate the consideration of sharing your beer with us. But on my flip side, I'm torn today, Trey, because I also have a personal stance of refusing Oktoberfest before September 1st as my personal stand against seasonal creep.
You're a very, very principled man.
I am a principled man in everything, but especially beer.
It's good that's just our Dry County Marzen.
Okay,
So
there
you
you
can
go.
drink
That's right. Yeah. Oh, well, now I'm in now.
Hang on,
man.
let me
Marzen,
just draw Marzen over top of that. Just don't
Yes.
worry about the patterned shirt. And,
a European style amber lager or some kind of name like that.
Whatever helps you sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Now, with that though, we've seen some early July. The pumpkin beers are coming. I saw a meme. No, Mike Nate, I think you shared this meme with me. It said objects in mirror are closer than they appear, and they look in the mirror, and it's a dude running full speed, and he's got a shirt on that says pumpkin beers. And so when is too soon? Where's the fine? Where do we stop, Trey?
I don't know if we ever will.
Okay.
But it's one of those things, Dry County, we own and operate a tap room that we love, and we love that model, but we are also a distribution brewery. And so you're competing with folks like the Yinglings of the world that, there's already 30K stacks of Yingling Oktoberfest out on the Kroger Total Wine floor, right? So if we want to sell any of our Oktoberfest in the market, we've got to have it at distributors by a certain time in order to compete. So it's kind of it's you're chasing the lesser of the evils.
They're kind of forcing you to do it then. I'm like, well, we're already selling theirs. Like, if you want on board this train heading to Oktoberfest, you need to get on it in May.
Exactly.
And that's the thing, is exactly what you said. These guys, your Sam Adams and your Yinglings are going to be out there. So if you want to compete with that, because it's a short window of people buying Oktoberfest. So you got to make sure they're out there. But
there's just no
we're
excuse.
Going to be chasing it.
There's just no excuse for the pumpkin beers. There are pumpkin beers on shelves right now.
Yeah,
there's no excuse for this. If it's not left over from last year, and it probably should be, there's just no excuse for it.
I was at a Walmart one time when they were doing their seasonal change out, and they moved out. Seriously, I watched them do this. They moved out weed eaters and lawnmowers and barbecue grills and moved in Christmas lights and Christmas trees. And I say that as I sat here with a Summerfest and an Oktoberfest in my hand. So this is the beer equivalent of a Walmart seasonal change there. So, and you can't stop it. You can't stop the train, can you?
Yeah, it's insane because we have meetings there obviously every week, and he comes to me earlier and earlier, and he comes to me in June. He's like, "You need to order supplies for October." I was like, "What are you talking about?" So I'm ordering Oktoberfest, grains and hops and everything, and then we're brewing it in July. It's like, what is going on?
and you say or complain about it being too early. We're stressing and worrying that it's too late.
Yeah. We're behind the curve already, man. It's late July.
It is.
So. Yeah,
I guess if we want to drink any Oktoberfest, we need to start drinking them now. Otherwise, they'll just be gone.
That's why we brought like 4 or 5 cases.
Heck yeah, man. We'll be ready to go.
You know what's interesting is with the Christmas beers, especially, I think they blow out very quickly. I've gone out looking for beers for our Christmas shows, only to find that some of the ones I want, they're already sold out. I'm like, this is weeks before Christmas, like 2 or 3 weeks. How are they sold out already?
You got to start shopping for those in October.
I guess so. Yeah.
I appreciate it, guys, because we're figuring it out how the brewers get. And I get it from the brewer's perspective. You got a business to run, man. And sometimes you're like, look, I don't want to put out an Oktoberfest in the middle of July, but I know if I want to sell my Oktoberfest, I got to get out the middle of July.
Yeah, and don't get us wrong, our Oktoberfest party fest at the brewery will be in late September. That's when we do it every year, and we'll blow it out. We'll have the Steins and the Lederhosen and all that.
Good stuff.
Yeah, but trust me, Ryan and I are on the same page here too, because this is the first full beer we've had. We obviously had it during fermentation and bright and all that, but he's like holding his margin right now. This is the first full beer we've opened up because we're the same way. We can't really do the Oktoberfest either, officially have our own full can.
Feels like I need a little bit of briskness in the air.
Yeah,
it's 410 degrees out there today, man.
It is. Yeah,
you need football.
So that's why I'm gonna cuvee up the Summerfest and the Oktoberfest. We'll see where we end up there.
The early August fest.
Yes, you should throw your Oktoberfest party in May. And just people like
Cinco de Mayo with Lederhosen.
Yes, I'm in. Out.
Yeah.
So
Cinco de Oktoberfest. Well, Tim, I think we should probably get into the beers of the week.
Sounds good to me, Brian. As always, we got a great list of beers to get into, and we do want to thank our friends at the Nest for sponsoring this segment. Craft beer, barbecue, Kennesaw, Georgia. Not too darn far from Dry County Brewing Company.
Not at all.
Just around the corner there. So Adam Silverberg, who joined us recently on the show, the proprietor of the Nest, he's out exploring Southern California beer this week.
Very nice.
He's out there having a good time with it. But thank you so much for sponsoring our beers of the week. And we've just got all of the Dry County brews to get into this week. We have a Summerfest, as we mentioned, and an Oktoberfest, because of course we do. We have a Kaleidoscope IPA, Lechuza, lots of Lechuzas, right, Trey? A variety pack Lechuza Lime, and Lechuza Amber for all of your Mexican lager needs. And Cantarito, which is an agave-based cocktail, an RTD, as they call them in the business, a ready-to-drink canned cocktail, right?
You got it.
Man, we've got all of that to drink, Brian. Can we do it?
Oh, of course. You've got me here. Of course you can.
Point made, Brian. Well, Brian, can you share some craft beer news with us?
All right, sure. But you might regret it because I've got bad news this week. Starting off with Sierra Nevada, they have announced the permanent closure of their torpedo room in Berkeley, California, after nearly 10 years of being in the business. The location has actually been closed for a month at this point. It was temporarily closed back on June 30th due to a staffing shortage. And this isn't even the first time they've closed. First time they've done this, close early or close for a period of time because of staffing shortages. They did it back in March for the same reason. And not only has staffing been a big challenge since the pandemic, but they say the business has also been slow and the foot traffic just hasn't recovered. So that was it. They finally said, we've just got to pull the plug. We can't operate this business. So Sierra Nevada's other locations in Chico, California and Mills River, North Carolina will be unaffected by this, so don't worry about this.
Some big boys getting hit, Brian. We've seen a few of them fall. It's crazy stuff, man.
Indeed. So it looks like we might be seeing another big brewery auction soon. Madison, Wisconsin's Ale Asylum has permanently closed after 16 years after plans to sell the brewery fell through. Apparently, the group of investors who had planned to take over the ownership and keep the brewery running, they failed to secure the financing necessary to do so. So the offer to buy the brewery kept Ale Asylum out of the auction that they had been planned to go into in October of last year. And they would have been able to keep the staff and the operations running indefinitely with this. But now it seems like they'll be heading back to auction.
Too bad to hear it, man.
Yep.
We're seeing a lot. We'll see a lot more, I'm sure, unfortunately. You are listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We do need to take a break, but we will be right back with more from Dry County Brewing. All right, we're clear now. You heading out, sir?
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, have a good one. Thanks for coming by. We appreciate it.
I think it's fucking hilarious.
We appreciate it. So
Good job.
we have a good time with it.
See you soon.
Yeah, we'll try to see you at the symposium.
Yeah.
The symposium.
This symposium. All righty.
Leave my cocktails over
Oh, okay.
Dishes for you.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care, JK.
Cheers, guys.
Do.
I was expecting a cheers from Kettle Rock by now.
I know.
Yeah,
right?
what's going on here?
See, we get worried, you know.
Yeah.
Where are you, Kettle
Now,
Rock Brewing?
how is he doing? Now I'm concerned. I'm
He's
going to
got
call.
his program now, though,
Yeah.
because we're talking about his brewery,
Yeah,
even when he's not here.
exactly.
So he's got his
Yeah.
program. He did it. Sure, man.
Yeah, why not?
Absolutely.
Why not?
Yeah.
You guys did some pre-gaming before the show, so that's what that's what happens when you pre-game.
Gotta pee, yeah.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
Dr. Trey.
Oh yeah, Dr. Trey.
That's
Yeah,
it, man.
had
Back in the day, it was Coop
Coop
Dog and
Dog and
Coop
Dr.
Dog
Trey.
and Dr. Trey.
that was at
it,
the
man.
Kennesaw Beer Fest.
Yep.
Yeah, that was 2017 Beer Fest, I think. And when
2017.
you were touring around, the brewery was early 2016.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we opened the brewery in September of 16.
Okay.
So
That's good stuff. When
That 16 would have been really early into the show as well.
yeah, I think
It
you
was.
were
Yeah.
just starting up.
Yeah.
Had just started up.
January 2nd, 2016 was our first show.
Yeah.
So that's
This was probably, if I remember the weather.
Yeah.
It was like March, April. that
Okay.
You were touring the brewery
gotcha.
because it wasn't
Yeah.
hot, and
Yeah.
we were wearing short sleeves. So
Yeah.
When y'all moved here, what, 2 years ago?
I think we're going 3 now. Yeah.
In this
we've been here a few
location,
years,
yeah, about. I
Yeah.
want to say 3. It actually seems like longer than. Look at the entire timeline. It seems like wow, all that happened in such a short period of time. But the 3 years we've been here seems like it's been like we've always been here.
Yeah.
at this
Seems
point.
like home.
always.
This
This
is
has
home.
always been here.
This is our place.
This is how we do it.
This is how we do.
I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, there we go.
That's fine. That's fine, Brian. Sometimes you just got to let it out like that, man.
That's right. That's right. Okay. So what are we drinking next? Well, we've got. Oh, what's that?
Yeah, I believe.
Oh, okay. Good stuff.
The IPA.
I'm looking forward to that.
IPA.
you get to talk about the IPA.
Do. Oh yeah.
All right. Look at that.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
I still
these-
got.
Oh, it's the same can.
So these cans are all basically taproom only beers for the most part.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I just created a crooked label series because when we made real labels, the bartenders couldn't put them on straight. So Just if we call it crooked label, it'll look like it's on purpose.
There you
And
go.
then
really nice yesterday.
She was.
it's easy for us to just make 10, 20 cases of whatever beer they're brewing in the back.
Mhm.
We can do that and put it in the tap.
I think you should have, in addition to that, had beer in big bold letters across it in black, and then you could have the details about what the beers are, because
Yeah.
that would have been awesome.
that would have been pretty funny.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do on the next one. It'll just
Yeah.
say beer.
Just beer on there, but like in small print, you can have every single bit of the details.
Yes.
Oh, okay. This
We'll
is
have
what
the
it
whole
is.
brew sheet on there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
on
whole-
there,
all
yeah.
the
Then
ingredients.
eye chart.
You get a fair amount of information on this for being kind of a plain label. It does have all the pertinent details,
Yeah.
which is good. I feel like anymore I look at the labels, at least in part, just to make sure there's no lactose in them, and they don't always
Yeah, which is-
disclose
which is
that
hard,
even
which
when
is
there
hard to
is.
tell these.
Yeah, it's like it's an IPA, but it could have lactose in it.
Yeah, right.
The thing I'll tell you you can see right here that actually having lactose in it does not stop Brian from. He's like, I look to make sure it doesn't have it. Then I go ahead and drink it, but I take a pill.
Oh, so yeah, sorry, I didn't pass it around.
I know. Thanks, man. Thanks.
I know,
Thanks
I'm-
for the,
That's
because
so
you talk
Brian.
during his
I'm a
music.
greedy
I'm
drinker.
sorry. I was trying to be JK got up and I didn't want to be an asshole, you know? I was like, I'm sorry.
fine. That's why I just muted you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Sorry. It's like when somebody stands up, you've known for a long time. You gotta say
Yeah.
goodbye, right?
Not during the music.
I know, right? Sorry.
Just
Sorry. Thank you.
Well, he did jump the gun. He was supposed to wait to leave until the music.
Yeah.
was
He
over.
did,
Yeah.
but he didn't have headphones, so he didn't know.
True. It's a good
Yeah, oh,
point.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. He
Yeah.
wouldn't have heard.
Oh, y'all don't have external, like a little small external.
No, we've actually thought we do want to get because we've got
Just
an
a small one?
output to put
Yeah.
a monitor on there.
It would
So
be nice.
yeah, because we
Yeah.
do have people that come hang out on the couch
Yeah.
and you
That
know, so
would
they
be a
can
good
hear our
idea.
conversation, but they can't hear that. Or if we have guests
That's a good point.
on the
Yeah,
remote,
that's
they
not-
can't
yeah,
hear
I never thought of
anything.
that.
So yeah.
absolutely.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if mic bleed would be an issue, but we also
that would be.
we also should
yeah.
get some. We could get wireless headphones and see if we could get a bunch of them that will attach to a single point, so you could broadcast. Here,
Yeah.
take some wireless ones. You can
If
listen
we
in.
got a monitor and sat it there, you know what? We could. I think I may have a speaker. We could like try it out and see, because I would be worried. We'd have to have it loud enough for them to hear, but not
Yes.
loud enough to where it went over, was over
Yeah.
our headphones. And I think that is synchronized where you're not supposed to have any delay, because that would really mess us up if there was an eighth of a second delay or something. So, have you guys ever seen that thing where there's an app that delay, like you wear your headphones and speak into the mic and it plays it back to you, but with like an eighth of a second delay, and you just get to where you're just mush mouthed because your brain hearing yourself at just a slight delay
You can't.
is
You can't keep
it
up.
just messes, it really messes you up.
And that's why they always yell at people when you call into like a talk radio show,
Having
sports
the
show,
radio
whatever.
on.
Turn your radio off, because people can't handle hearing themselves.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I hear me, and then they'll stop and they'll lose everything. And so if you hear people go up, bit, and like, it's because that idiot's is listening to themselves on the radio. Like,
Yeah.
turn it off.
Yeah.
You know what's that?
Yeah,
Oh
they will,
yeah.
they
But
will,
I call into the Atlanta sports radio so much that I know I turn my radio off and then I turn it on right after I get to hear.
Yeah, you get to
Yeah,
you get to hear the
little-
tail
I'm there I am, man. There
because
I
of the
am.
delay.
Yeah.
You get to hear yourself on the, or you can just have somebody like throw cassette tape if anybody even still has one of those in a
Those don't
boom
exist.
box. Those don't exist. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm old.
He's
I
complaining with
forgot.
his Walkman afterwards.
I probably still have a Walkman somewhere. I saw on social media somebody said, "How many of you?" Before, like, I don't know, something came out recently that made cassettes and Walkman relevant again. I guess they got hot. I'm like, oh, not only did I know what they are, I probably still have an old one I bought like 20 plus years ago, because I got a neat one that had a tuner and a bunch of other stuff built into it. But like before even like MP3s were things. So
Well, it's like my new wallet I got has my driver's license. It cuts off the last two digits of my year, and people are like, it doesn't matter as long as they see the 19, you're fine. I was
You're
like,
good
oh,
to go,
shit.
man. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
I
You're
was
set.
literally, that's all that
yeah.
matters.
that is a fair point. You
Yeah,
no
I mean,
longer,
Yeah.
it cuts off the last two. I'm like, it says 19. That's all you
They're
need.
like, I don't need to see any more, old man. So you're like, fair. Yeah. I remember it's weird thinking about like times and dates. Like I graduated, I'm gonna date myself dead on. I graduated high school in 1990, and we thought 1990 was that just sounded like the future,
Yeah,
the
oh, yeah.
90s, you know. And then I remember flipping to 2000. I'm like, we're space age now. And then 2020, what the hell even is that? So
Great
Same
vision.
old bullshit.
it is.
Yeah.
I remember so many people like going in to 2020, everybody planning like the Roaring 20s parties and all that.
Yes.
Everybody's so excited. And they're like, oh, so this is what the 2020 is going to be like, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
it's-
everybody's watching Stranger Things going, oh, wow, I wish it was like that.
Oh man, gosh, yes.
That's
Let's
right.
go
I
to the
remember.
upside
I
down.
remember the roar. Everybody was doing the Roaring 20s and the Great Gatsby theme.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yep.
Yeah. What's that?
Those 20s might have been
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, no,
exactly.
it didn't.
Absolutely.
better. Spanish food was.
Yeah, Spanish flu. Did that come out?
Was
like
it
right
gone? Did it come out? Brian talking about it like it's a release.
there?
When did they release that?
That was a good pandemic back in
When
the
was
day.
the Wuhan release? That
When
was,
was that?
2020, right?
That was the best release. There's
Yeah.
a lot of different releases. That was the best one.
Last year's was better.
When did it drop? When did Spanish flu drop?
Yeah. This is stale. This virus isn't even fresh.
The original drop of
Yeah.
COVID was
Now-
better.
Yeah, wait
And-
you get COVID on vinyl, that shit's real.
Dude, look, I got COVID in like February of 2020, so I can be the hipsters. Is like, oh, 2021 COVID, whatever. Yeah, I had that. Yeah,
I was into it
got
before it was
early.
cool.
I got it before we knew that losing your taste was one of the symptoms of it. So, yeah, that was it. It took me 2 weeks to get test results. Like I was in that
Yeah,
early
yeah,
phase of the
that
shit.
is,
So, and the way I found out, I've shared this like 100 times. We were actually in here with the folks from Ironmonger, and they just packaged a new bourbon barrel stout, and they're like, "You guys have to try this because the bourbon in it is super intense." And I took a drink, and I'm like, "This tastes like water." I'm like, I don't taste anything. But I
Really?
didn't even know at the time
Yeah, wow.
that it was a symptom. It was maybe a week later.
It was like a week later.
I was reading news and like, hey, we just found out that, you know,
lack of smell and taste
Yeah.
is a thing with this.
like the latest news is like erectile dysfunction and hair loss is a long term. I'm like, this thing just
Is it?
keeps getting
Man, I
worse,
had
man.
COVID like 20 years ago then,
See,
right?
right? Yeah. I got you're more hipster than I am, man.
Gonna be bald and impotent
Yeah.
as a result of this. Awesome.
Hey, remember how you couldn't breathe for shit 2 years ago? Guess what? Guess what? We got a surprise for you.
Some other things you like about yourself are also going away.
This is like the shittiest Jack in the Box ever. So,
Wow.
uh,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you had the test back in the day when they were like, you may have gonorrhea or COVID. I'm not sure.
yeah, we'll
I'm
find out.
not- I mean, we'll see in like 2 weeks. I don't know.
Which
We're
end did they
good.
test?
Well,
That's
they-
what I'm curious.
Well, yeah, that's what they gave him all
Well,
these
just like
tests.
anyone else, they put the Q-tip in the rectum that reached all the way to the brain. So I've never seen a Q-tip that long. They're like, we got to make sure to touch everywhere so we can see what's going on.
Hold really still. You don't want this to break.
Yes. Yes. Don't stand up. Don't stand up. Oh, I lost it. Please go to that line over there. There's someone over there with salad tongs. So,
Another guy on just pounding people in the head.
yeah. He picks you up and shakes you like a ketchup bottle. So, is this even about beer anymore?
No. This stopped being about beer a long
We
time
mentioned
ago.
our Oktoberfest is 18%.
Is it? Yeah, exactly. No, it's 13.99999.
Yeah.
So
Did you already get into the Oktoberfest?
I didn't.
Oh, okay. All right. You know what? Now I
All
kind of
right.
want to try an Oktoberfest. It's like 13.9999%. Yeah.
Imperial
Well,
Oktoberfest.
we'll have
That's
to throw
right.
some pumpkin in there for you, though.
Right.
Jeez.
Ice
And lactose. And lactose.
Of course, while you're at it.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right. Well, now that our system is the right word, we'll see how it goes. But let's talk some more dry
I have a
county.
feeling we have more of it in our system.
Nate, let's do it, buddy.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
What in tarnation?
Now, back to the Beer Guys radio show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. Oh my gosh.
We can redo it.
Yeah,
Let's
we're
redo
early
that.
enough. Let's just redo it. It'll be easier than editing that.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
What in tarnation?
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. Remember, all episodes are available on demand. So if you missed the broadcast, get the podcast. Beer Guys Radio is available on the Podcast Park and all popular and unpopular podcasting apps. Now let's get back to Dry County Brewing Company.
Trey Sinclair, we were talking off air here about the early days of Dry County. So 2016 came over, and the guys from ABV Chicago were visiting Atlanta because he came by there with me. But we walked through and did a little video tour, which is up on our YouTube if you want to see Dry County in its early days. But that was 6 years ago, which means you're about to throw down with a 6th anniversary, correct?
We are, which is crazy to think about, right?
Right. Because it honestly doesn't seem like 6 years ago, does it?
It does not. Seems like 16.
16, yeah.
16.
Sometimes it feels like a year, sometimes 30. So when did they drop? 2016. That's
They
it.
dropped in 2016.
But yeah, 6-year anniversary, second week of September. We're still finalizing all the details on bands and food trucks and special releases and all that. But people who've been to one of the first 5 know that it's a party. So
There will be a throwdown. Details to come, but it's going to be a throwdown, right?
exactly.
Is there anything in the last 6 years that jumps out to you as a memorable moment? Is the list too long? See, on radio, you cannot see the facial expressions. Like, oh my gosh, where do I start? Where do I start?
Yeah, exactly. Eyes rolled up in the back of his head.
Yeah.
it was
He's
great.
going through the mental Rolodex there. So
I mean, I think for anybody who's been operating a brewery in the past 6 years, obviously that early 2020 is going to stick with everybody forever. Obviously everything that was horrible and going on in the world, but here locally, getting the on-premise shut down basically in March of 2020, that's gonna stick with everybody. But then really the months after that, kind of how the communities rallied around all the local breweries, I think will also stick with everybody as kind of a positive side of that, for sure. But then the industry's just changed dramatically. Even 6 years ago when we launched our Dry County IPA, was our first beer out the market. That's a classic, almost West Coast style IPA. We still brew it. It's still one of our best-selling beers, but it's not a hazy. It's clear. We would have accounts in the market sometimes that would complain if there was the slightest bit of haze in it that this beer's too hazy. And now we have people that complain that this beer's not hazy enough. So that's kind of the market encapsulated in the past 6 years, I guess.
that's pretty. I remember when we started the show that I used to always, just as a blanket statement, say I don't like IPAs, and that's because I'm not a West Coast guy. I don't like the bitter beers, but IPAs changed. We know that
they're not bitter. Even
they're
the ones
juicy, they're hazy, they're soft, and all that. And I really dig the well done, Northeast style IPAs. I'm not a fan of the bitter beers. Still, I can tell when there's one is made well. It's just not what I want to put on my palate. But speaking of IPAs, we're into one of your IPAs right now. I believe Kaleidoscope. Is that right?
We are. So this is a tap room only beer, which I'll let Ryan, our head brewer, talk about in a second.
Ryan,
he brewed the beer himself, but it is kind of a limited small batch tap room only. We're like most local breweries, we're trialing new things all the time to see what we might want to put out in the market next. So Ryan can kind of take it away on exactly what we're drinking here in our glass.
Ryan, I am digging this beer, really enjoying it. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, I think what we were doing is really shooting for a simple, clean West Coast IPA, I think we joked about it being like our kind of Tropicalia in the tap room, and classic 6%, something like that, around that range. And we went with Citra Mosaic, 2-row base, and we did really probably just a handful midnight wheat in there, just for some color. But it came out pretty crisp and clean, and really like the nose on it. It has a great taste.
And there's not a ton of color. When you say midnight wheat, people may look, think black. It's a very clear beer with
just a little bit of color.
Golden coppery there. And it's funny, he says, classic West Coast, right after I say, I don't like West Coast and I like this, but the bitterness is not heavy on this.
And I was going to jump in there too. Ryan's one of those Gen X brewers, or Gen Z, or what do they call them now? The youngest generation.
Okay.
Zennials or something?
Zennials, yeah, he's a Zennial. So when he says West Coast, that's what he's talking about. But for you and I that have been around, and Win has been around,
This
wait.
kid doesn't know nothing about the 1,000
That's
IBU
right.
wars,
This
right?
is-
Yeah, you missed the our version of the Clone Wars, the IBU Wars, or
the
whatever.
IBUs, they were everywhere.
Yeah, that's right.
Thousands
Thousands of them. Face
drinking
melter.
grapefruit juice.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
But this is kind of a cleaner IPA. To Ryan's point, it's not going to be hazy or New England style by any means, but an American IPA with the hops that he mentioned that bring forward kind of more of those juicy and soft notes rather than the bitter in your face.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, I don't know which one of you guys will know this the best. When this may sound like a operations kind of thing, but are you seeing more West Coast? Are people coming for that classic style again more?
Yeah, for sure. We're seeing, and Ryan can talk on it too. He hangs out in the tap room a lot, but I think we're seeing a lot of people revert back towards wanting bitterness or wanting clarity in their IPAs. People are still always going to love the hazy beers. They're around forever in the soft 0 IBU type of IPAs. But I guess, Ryan, you're hanging out in the tap room. What are you seeing?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know that from my standpoint, my palate, and I've gotten to where it's kind of overwhelming with the amount of hazy IPAs.
Sure.
It's fun to make. I love making them. They're always fun to see how they turn out and everything like that. But, the thickness too. Some get really thick.
They do.
Yeah,
With two
they're
Cs.
tasty and everything, but it's I'm looking towards a really clean beer now, and these are just tasting amazing lately, and so I think we're kind of chasing that now.
I do think that craft in general, especially the really, really old people like Wynn that have been doing this for a long time. But if you've been, if you've got a 19 on the front of your driver's license, then you've been drinking craft for a little while. You've been drinking beer for a little while. And, we talk about like the late 90s, the brew pub era. You had a golden ale. There was going to be a porter on there. There was going to be a blonde ale.
It's usually an amber and frequently an ESB. You said
Yeah.
porter, I think, already.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So you'd see those there. Then we had, you get into the early 2000s, I get the IBU wars we're talking about. I mean, I think it was Mikkeller that did put out a beer they claimed was 1,000 IBUs.
Yeah.
And for those that don't remember it, the scientists came to us and said the palate cannot really perceive anything over 100, but still, if you measure based on all these, the calculations of how many bittering units you're putting in there, it was 1,000. And that's what, and there were people that chased that wanted, make it bitter, make it hit me, make it knock me down.
As a younger man, I remember needing to kind of season the palate for those. Like I enjoyed them back in those days, but sometimes that first one would be like a punch in the mouth. You're like, I'm just going to have to drink this one so I can enjoy the next one because that'll be seasoning for me. So when people talk about, I see this on social media a fair amount, like IPA drinkers trying to tell me that they love bitterness in a beer and like they're making fun of it. It's like, well, there was some truth to that back in the day when it was 1,000 IBUs. Not anymore. No, not anymore.
Yeah.
Like this stuff, it's actually a nice balancing bitterness, if anything. These are still like juicy, fruity beers with just a touch of bitterness.
Yeah, I mean, they still have to be well done. I mean, that because Ryan and I, we go back and I kind of our idea with especially with this IPA we're drinking right now is like kind of going back to the original. Like Ryan and I have a different perspective because we're obviously a little different age difference. But his version of a West Coast and my version of a West Coast is a little different. So we're trying to go back to the mainstream. Like this IPA that we did right now, it only has 2 hops in there. Everybody's throwing 4 or 5 hops in there back in the day. You can't even tell what you're tasting. Is this forward, back? I don't know. So we're trying to make not necessarily a single hop version, but at least 1 or 2, so you can kind of tell what you're drinking. So we're going back towards the mainstream a little bit here. Our Summerfest with the lager and then the IPA, and coming up with our anniversary series, we're doing a whole series that we're just like a classic brown ale. We're gonna do a just an English bitter, just really old school, kind of just bring you back to earth. What was original, so you can kind of bring the young guys to the old guys. That's kind of where we're going for. And I think that's a great idea. So I can bring my ideas, he can bring his younger ideas too. And we can collaborate because, I don't know everything. He doesn't know everything, but we can kind of meet that in the middle. So that's kind of where we're going for. I'm excited about that.
Yeah. And like you mentioned, when we're getting to a point to where the loop is coming around where the old school drinkers and the new school drinkers are starting to meet together. The guys that just want English pub ales versus the guys who want these hazies. They're, hey, let's come towards English, let's Pilsner, let's do this and that. So It's cool stuff, and we'll talk more about that. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We need to get another break in here, and we will be right back with more from Dry County Brewing Company.
Eventually, it's going to be like that meme where the two hands coming together to shake hands. People who love
Yes, right
hazies,
here,
and,
the-
yeah,
Yeah.
in the center there. Whew. I guess my brain is a little bit more out to lunch than I thought with the beginning of that intro.
It happens. It
The
happens.
second two was great.
Yes.
Yeah,
Take
yeah.
two.
Second take was great, but still.
Take
Woo.
two.
So I was thinking when I was drinking this IPA, I'm like, this is what I used to call, and now we're going back a few years because I haven't used this term in a while. I used to call that an East Coast IPA, like the Tropicalia.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit of the bitterness of the West Coast. Doesn't have a lot of the haze. It has a little bit more of the juice than some of the other ones, but it's got that nice fusion of it's fruity, it's tropical, but it's also got a little bit of bitterness to it.
Yeah.
And that was what I thought of being an
Yeah.
East Coast style
It has a little
IPA.
spice in the background, like on the
Yeah.
back notes too, like which kind of gives you that little West Coast style. But like I'm saying, it literally is just kind of a merge.
I think
of-
that's
yeah.
probably my favorite style too. Is I like the heavy nose from the East Coast. And then
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like floral profile, flavor profile too, but having a tad bit of bitterness.
Yeah.
But it was funny. I mean, no, I did have to brew a bunch of classic West Coast because I brewed with Phil Farrell forever.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
yeah.
he wants Pliny.
Yeah,
nonstop,
Pliny,
so it's
yeah,
like-
yeah, yeah.
So
We
I
did our
still think
classic,
Pliny's a
you know,
great beer. I'm
sea
like,
hops and everything.
yeah, I know. Yeah, that's definitely going to be on the West Coast side of things. I think it's a fantastic. You've had that. You like
Oh
that.
yeah. Yeah.
That's a
Especially,
great beer.
It's crazy to think
especially
about what
fresh.
it
It's just
Oh,
it's a
yeah.
quality beer.
Yeah.
It's excellent.
But you're right. There was the East Coast style there for about 2 years.
Yeah, and I'm kind of sad it went away.
It
Like
went away
everybody's
'cause everyone on the
chasing
East
New
went
England. So yeah,
Northeast. So
And I will say, I love our Georgia Brewers, but the transition to them trying to do a Northeast IPA, having maybe never had one, we had some really bad
Yeah.
interpretations.
and
when
that's
they first
something
came.
Dry County, we have Graffiti IPA out now, which is
Yeah.
a New England IPA,
Mhm.
but we are a hazy IPA, but we did not put a hazy IPA into the market until late last year.
Yeah.
So, we were 3 years late to the game, but that was because we wanted to put something out. We had some great taproom hazies, but get something that's stable out in the market.
Right.
We wanted to take our time and do it right. I think we have with Graffiti.
Cool.
So,
I gotta say though, when brewed IPA was a thing,
Yeah.
I was gonna say
I-
brewed
yeah,
IPA.
yeah.
I had
Yeah,
no
yeah.
brewed IPA. I got a growler, but it
Yeah.
really
Was it
tasty.
good? Okay,
Yeah.
'cause there were a lot of abysmally
I saw
bad
that, yeah.
brute IPAs where like, did you guys even read the description of what this is supposed to be? Like
Yeah.
there were like hazy brute IPAs and things.
Yeah.
And like, you guys, come on, you don't. No. Now that's dead.
It is.
And
what are we drinking next?
yeah, what
guys?
are we
What
drinking
What
next?
should we open next?
We can do one of those chooses if we want to say on
Or like
beer, or we can go
Cantarito.
into Cantarito if we want to do an RTD.
I don't practice Cantarito.
You like the kaleidoscope? You like it?
Yeah, I like the kaleidoscope a lot, yeah. I can crush those easily. Yeah.
It's just easy. Yeah. It's just
Yeah,
easy
it's
simple, not overwhelming.
I am
Like,
down
I'm
to
not
clown
fighting.
with RTDs, so let's do this. We went over to Good Word last week. They had Tiki Fest,
Yeah.
Oh, how was that?
dude.
Was it
this
good?
is great.
Killer.
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
Awesome cocktails.
we
Yeah.
spent like
Great food.
$900 drinking cocktails and eating good
And you
food.
got like 4 drinks.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's not too far from the truth.
Pretty sweet place.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's great.
we're big fans, man. Sure enough.
I found that out way too late working at Swanee that it was right
Yeah.
there.
Oh yeah, for real.
I could not believe that. It's not.
He
a lot
gets
of
to
stuff
half.
at Swanee, but the
He gets
lid
half
was
a
awesome.
beer,
Yeah.
half a
I
beer,
really enjoyed the list.
or a
Yeah.
splash and a half. So no, you got that one too. I knew it was going to be a half and a half.
So we can wait
You can
till
go back
air.
to
I
him.
can talk about it now.
Wait, half and half. Are we-
Yeah, we'll get on the air and talk about it.
Like he was going to
Oh.
end up with a.
Oh, I was gonna say, are we pouring Guinness
splash
over
and
top of
splash.
this? Because I'm in.
Splash. Can I see one of those cans, Trey?
Yeah.
You can.
Thank you, sir.
You can. Torito.
Cantorito.
So that is the name of an actual cocktail in Mexico. Cantarito is
Alrighty.
another cocktail.
I like the festive can on the Cantorito. I don't practice Cantorito.
That's right.
Ain't got
I
no
like that. We're gonna have to find a way to
crystal
work that into it.
Yeah.
on social
Yeah.
media, but-
Exactly. And I think that would really work with this. Like, I don't know, you could get into some trouble depending on how you do it, but yeah. Yeah.
You could have someone, you could have a video of someone trying to make one at the bar and someone tries it like, this isn't right. It's like, have you made this before? And they'd be like, I don't practice Cantorito.
Trey-
and
Trey
then
just
someone
walks-
comes in with a can like this. So
I was just thinking Trey would just walk in with strum his guitar. I don't practice Cantorito. And then we just fade to black. And just boom.
So, I like that.
If I had a million RTDs, I'd
Drink them all.
drink them all. And show that he fan, I'd pop a.
So from
this,
from beer to RTD is a hard.
This is
one.
magnetic. Why is this magnetic? I don't see any reason for that.
Is that like the battery or something like that?
Maybe
I have
it
no
is.
idea.
How do these things even work? Magnets.
Magnets.
What is this?
How do
what
they
is
work,
this technology?
man? Whoa.
What did Al Gore do?
Jeez.
Quickly,
Man, they're big.
somebody call the Insane Clown Posse.
We got a comment.
Oh, we did.
Bum, bum, bum,
Is it a
bum.
good one or a bad one?
What's up? Tasty Stouts. Weyerbacher.
Oh, no.
I also
Gosh.
heard.
See, that's what I appreciate, man. People bringing us news.
Yeah.
Right.
They're
I
breaking the news right here. So,
I wonder when
Man.
that happened.
Yeah.
I looked around this week looking for news.
so
and-
in case you do not see the chat stream here, because I know it doesn't feed out to every channel we've got here, but apparently Weyerbacher has filed for bankruptcy a second time. That's Patrick. Did this shut him down, or is this another one that? Because I think you can file it once to.
indefinitely closed in the link. It says tap
yeah,
room indefinitely
okay.
closed.
and
'Cause I
Night
know-
Shift
Wow.
Brewing, top 50 brewery, they're moving to contract.
Are
only
they
now.
really?
Who is?
Wow!
Night
Wow!
Shift.
Night shift.
Wow.
Okay.
They had a pretty big. I know if they're up at Philly,
Yeah.
Philly, Pittsburgh. So, and I think they did coffee as well. Do you
They're-
do coffee, or were you talking about doing it at
we
one
did
time?
in the early days.
Okay.
We do not currently.
Okay,
We might bring
gotcha.
it back at some point.
Alrighty.
Weyerbacher made the mistake of discontinuing Sunday Morning
Uh-huh.
Stout, which was awesome.
Yeah,
And I still have some of those I've hoarded. And,
and a great PPV on that. Or,
yes, price
PPO.
price
PPO.
per ounce.
Price
yes.
per ounce.
That was one of the finest price per ounces of that particular.
That's why
style
they're
you could
going
get.
bankrupt. Though they
Yeah.
they undercharge you.
They could
So
bring
here we
it
go.
back, and
Patrick's got it. He says the tap room is closed, but they say they're still standing.
Ah, okay.
All right.
Well,
Be strong, Weyerbacher. Be
I
strong.
believe. What was
God.
their hearsay?
wow, what's
Heresy?
that name?
Yeah, I
can't
think
think
so.
of
Heresy?
that.
Barley wine?
Could
Yeah, that
be.
was
I'm not.
Old
phenomenal.
ale?
That was my favorite beer. When they did
I don't recall.
Yeah.
I just know that they did. They did the Sunday morning stout, then they did a mole,
They
a
did
mole
Sunday morning
stout,
mole. Yep,
Sunday
yep.
morning mole is what
Yeah.
it was. Which I actually
Yeah.
still occasionally see that on shelves, and that's
Madness, man.
that's as old as some of the times we were talking about earlier, like 2016, 2017.
Double Simcoe. Yeah, yeah. I was trying to remember the name.
Oh yeah.
Double Simcoe,
Oh
that was
yeah.
like my
Right.
Original old.
Yes.
Harsh.
Yeah.
IPA. Oh man.
Weyerbacher
We were
also
talking
did
about
Tiny
it.
too, didn't
Tiny,
they?
that's right, they did.
Just
And
thinking
they
about
had,
Wiseacre and is that
Gosh,
theirs?
man, I'd have to think. I guess I'm part of the problem because I can't remember the last time I bought a Weyerbacher beer,
So
but I
their-
love them.
Their
Do they
barley
still-
wine was the Blithering Idiot.
Blithering
Blithering
Idiot.
Idiot.
Okay. Yep.
Had like
What
the
was
jester
Heresy?
on the
Does
front.
anybody else remember?
I don't remember Heresy.
I remember him.
It
Am
may
I
have been
mixing
like a
something
stout
up?
or something. I know I've seen
There's
the
just
bottle.
no telling.
And I had a few of their anniversary beers. I think the problem is I stopped seeing a bunch of them. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if they pulled distribution from the state or what, but
Uh-huh.
when I do see them, it's mostly dated Sunday morning mole, which I occasionally have
Russian
bought some of
Imperial
those.
Stout. There
Russian
we go.
Imperial Stout.
I
Okay.
mean, I think they probably overreached their boundary on distribution with everything going
Yeah.
on. And
That was it, man. I tell you what, the business has been fascinating, awesome, and terrible to watch, say the last 5 years. I mean, just with everything, the pan, and really, we all know with the growth that we've seen here, I believe that Bart Watson said just a normalization in the industry. Everybody wants to say the bubble's burst and this is happening. No, every industry that has a boom period like that, there's always people that get into it for the wrong reasons. Y'all, we've got a lot of great beer in Georgia. There's a few terrible breweries here. And and some of them may go on for decades. Some of them are not, there's not, and some great breweries may not. Business, it's just the way it goes. But it doesn't mean a bubble is burst or everything's, going downhill.
Or maybe we should think about the industry as being a carbonated beverage where bubbles are always bursting, but new ones are rising up constantly.
Wow, Brian. Wow.
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 Yes.
Do we have any good sound effects? There you go. There you go, man. There you go.
You are all welcome for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Save that for discussions we have and just say, one's like, well, is the bubble, like when we go on,
Is the bubble
Jimmy
bursting,
Kimmel?
or has the bubbles
it's like,
always
well,
been
bubbles
bursting?
are bursting all the time, Jimmy.
Yeah.
But beer is a carbonated beverage.
We're just breaking the stone right now.
That's it, man.
There are
That's
always
it.
bubbles
Let's get
rising
there.
to the
That might go
top.
over some heads.
Yeah, right, man.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's okay. I'll be fine. I'll be wearing an ascot, and yeah.
of course. Of course. All right. Let's dive back in, Nate. Let's do this.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Your revolution is over, Mr. Lebowski. Condolences. The bomb's lost.
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. I want to give a quick shout out to one of our great radio affiliates, WQEE 99 Rock the Key, 99.1 FM in Noonan, Georgia. Catch Beer Guys Radio on 99 Rock the Key every Saturday at 10 a.m. Now let's get back to Dry County Brewing Company.
Guys, I want to share a story as a segue to us talking about your RTD cocktail that we're drinking here. A story of one of my visits to your brewery. And I actually think it may have been summer 2020. I think you may have been one of the first places we went when they started opening doors again. But we went in there on a blisteringly hot day, and you had 2 slushy machines of frozen cocktails in there. I was feeling that day. It felt like a day to drink a frozen drink. So I had like 2 of them, and I was feeling no pain, guys. These were no joke. These were not sessionable Slurpees there. And vodka based, weren't they?
Correct, yeah.
So because you do spirits as well, Dry County Brewing and spirits, and the cocktails here and cider and all that we'll talk about, but multi-beverage, multifaceted, correct?
Multifaceted.
All right. So with that said, cocktails, vodka drinks, frozen beverages, one of the cool things in the industry right now outside of beer is what they call RTD cocktails, ready to drink cocktails, canned cocktails. And we are seeing more discussions. And I saw where you commented on a LinkedIn post the other day. I don't know if you saw my comment, but I hinted at trying some. I was like, well, I hope I'm drinking some of those next Wednesday when Trey said it. But you were the first brewery in Georgia to launch an RTD cocktail, correct? 2018?
Correct. Yeah. 2018. We actually worked in 17 with the state, with the Department of Revenue, and our attorneys to get the state laws changed because a brewery could not distill and create spirits-based products prior to us doing it in 2018. So it's been a fun ride since then. I think a lot of people saw your Facebook Live after you drank the slushies and decided they wanted to get in the game too. So I think you're probably the trendsetter here.
I think so. They're like, he looks like he feels really good right now. I want to get in on that. That's it.
As a guy who was there and witnessing, he was feeling no pain. I'm like, wow, Tim has decided it's go time.
And I'll be honest, it was exactly what was called for on a really hot summer day. It was really refreshing to have that. So,
they were fun.
Yeah. Now you got to have Lechuza. You do the frozen margarita, and then you dump your Lechuza in there.
Action, they call
Yeah,
it.
man. Yeah. So it's going to be a good time. But today we are drinking Cantarito, which Trey, you tell me a Cantarito is actually a cocktail.
It is.
And we've got this can with the kind of a creamy beige background and an orange and a red and a green, just little flourishes. It's festive, isn't it?
It is festive.
Right.
So there are little fruits on there, as though they were being squozen to release
were
their
Squozen or
juice. Yes.
squeezing or squeezing? I don't even know.
I'm pretty sure as a professional on the radio, it's squozen.
It's the past participle tense of squoze.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Squeeze.
Yes.
So, yes. Like as in Patrick Swayze, but
Yes.
not quite. But yes, many fruits on there. So I see a lime.
When can you tell us about this squozen beverage we're drinking right now?
Yeah, well, Trey came to me and he actually pitched the can around. And I had no idea what it was either, just like y'all did. And he was like, "It's actually a traditional beverage." I mean, so it's something that's been established in South America for a long period of time. And so I was like, "Yeah, I'm on board for it." I came in with a little distilling background as well as a brewing background, and he said, it's kind of an orange agave base to begin with, and then fruited is a lime, orange, and grapefruit. So yeah, we were like, yeah, let's do it. So we kind of we like threw the dice in there, and I was like, let's do a little 10 barrel, 10 gallon batch. He's like, no, let's go for it. And we kind of threw it all out there, and I think we hit it on the head the first go around.
It's tasty.
It's super good, super refreshing. He'll give you more background on where it came from, but like I said, when he first approached me, I was like, yeah, I'm game, but I'd never really heard of it either.
Tell us about this. What is Cantarito here?
So it is a traditional cocktail originated in Mexico. You've got your margaritas, you've got your palomas that us in the States are familiar with, but Cantarito, if you go to Tequila Town in Jalisco, Mexico, this is the cocktail that people are drinking. So if you go to a Mexican restaurant, you see kind of the clay pot, clay jar, and they're making cocktails in there. 9 times out of 10, that is a Cantarito. So it's similar. It's kind of a cousin to a paloma in that, like Wynn was saying, it's agave based with grapefruit soda, grapefruit juice. But then this also adds the orange juice and the lime juice to it. So you get more of that kind of rounded fruit flavor there, full fruit flavor. And like Wynn said, I was confident. We've been doing these cocktails. We mess around with different versions in the tap room. I was pretty confident we could nail it. And I think Wynn and the team have for sure.
It's tasty. Agave and citrus is the actual cocktail tequila based?
Yeah. So the actual, if you go to Mexico, you're going to get Blanco tequila there. So what we've done here though, is we use an agave wine. We partner with a distillery in Tequila in Jalisco, Mexico, get 100% agave wine shipped to us across the border. And use an agave wine base, which in Georgia, based on the laws we have here, allows us to sell this product in a lot more places. It allows us to have a draft version of the product. So this is also available on draft. We got a lot of restaurants pouring it straight over ice in those traditional mugs. It's a really cool concept that if we did it with Blanco tequila, we would not be legally allowed to do here
because of the wine situation.
Yeah.
I got a question. It's based agave based drink. I remember hearing agave. There was like a shortage of that. It was there was real concerns about the availability, but is that true? Is that still an issue or?
For sure. Yeah. So it has been for a couple of years. Tequila obviously has been an incredibly popular beverage here for a while. The popularity has continued to grow, and the agave plant takes 8-10 plus years to reach maturity to where you can actually harvest it and turn it into tequila. So obviously you're gonna have that trailing, and similar to how we've seen in the bourbon, which you're familiar with industry,
sure.
as bourbon gets more popular and you actually need that resting time and aging time, kind of the same phenomenon, but on the plant side of things. So it is an issue. It is a shortage. Again, we went directly to Mexico, partnered with somebody there so that we could have that connection and that supply chain. We're not working through brokers and dealers and folks like that.
Okay.
So which has been very beneficial to us.
So Trey, one time I was down in Tijuana, Mexico, and I'm walking around, and I stop at a taco stand, and I get some tacos. You meat, cilantro, onions, that kind of taco, and I get a margarita there. And the guy comes around, the proprietor, and he says, "Hey, do you want to add a tequila shot to your margarita for $1?" And I say, "What kind of tequila is it?" And he looks at me and goes, "Who cares? It's $1." I was like, "That's a strong argument, buddy.
Makes a
that
very
is a
good
strong
point.
In
argument."
America,
Yeah. So I was like, fair. Okay, fair. I was like, yes, I want the $1's worth of tequila added to it. So this is better than that $1's worth of tequila I had added to
we will put that recommendation on our website.
Yes, definitely.
It is better than the Tijuana margarita.
$1 tequila.
And this is 10% out of the can. So you're like, yeah. So there you go.
Exactly. You know what? I was just thinking this can reminds me of, do you guys remember? I don't even know if it's still made or not, but there was a fruit juice cocktail kind of thing called 5 Alive.
Oh yeah.
Anybody
Sounds
remember
familiar,
that?
yeah.
So, and it just had all the fruits on it, and that. So kind of the bursting fruits here reminiscent of 5 Alive.
So if you were going to turn this into, because I'm very, very much into the Boilermaker, you get a shot of this. What beer from Dry County you're pairing it with?
We're doing classic Lechuza all day.
Classic Lechuza with
Okay.
this. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So I guess that wasn't a hard question, really.
But do you Boilermaker a cocktail? I think you're going too far, bro.
I might be with 10%. Well, I don't know that
Yeah.
you have. Are you pouring straight up spirits at the tap room these days, or can you? Or
We could legally, yes,
Yeah.
but no. Everything that we do is, as a brand, is ready to drink. So everything that we do, you can drink it out of a 12-ounce can. Is kind of our model, our philosophy.
But we're doing a frozen version of this too, just like you were talking about.
Oh, yeah.
So
That would be
we're
really
doing
good.
straight out of the
Sure.
can or draft or frozen.
Okay.
so this is the closest you could get probably to doing a Boilermaker. And it does taste cocktail
Well, I know
to me.
people
So
at the
yeah.
brewery, we may be able
Yeah.
to get some of those spirits.
There you
Maybe
go.
they can't sell them to the public, but maybe they
Well, who cares? As long as we
Yeah.
get it doesn't
It's
really matter.
Cantorito, yes.
Yes, right.
And yes.
Yeah. Now, guys, you've got, I think, was blueberry lemonade, was that your first that you did, or?
That was our first that we did, and it was really the first recipe we did. We just, I guess, kind of got lucky there on that one. But we've got a lot of the lemonades we've run with, done a bunch of fruited versions, and a lot of other cocktails as well.
RTDs, they're hot, man. There's some good
Yeah.
ones. There's some not good ones out there, Trey.
That is
There's
also
some,
true.
There's some well-known brands that are not very good, but they've been around a while. And we had Whistle Pig.
Oh yes,
They do one that's really
like
nice.
I think is it an old fashioned, the rye old fashioned that they do? Considering what they are, it makes a lot of sense.
But I'm down to clown with RTDs. I'm all aboard the RTD train. Brian, we need to take a break.
Okay.
You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We'll be right back with more from Dry County Brewing.
All right. What was I going to say? I had something I was going to say, and I lost it.
You were waiting for your next beer. Is that what you were waiting on?
Yes, probably. I was thinking some thought about this, and I can't think of what it was.
I mean, it's a lot of people come in,
Well,
and I guess I get it, but it's just a little different. People come in like a Texas margarita. It tastes like a Texas margarita a little bit because you have the orange.
Sure.
It's different though, but people will get that kind of flavor and feel for it, so that's kind of easy to kind of
Very
buy
lemonic.
into it. But that's kind of like the feeling a lot of people.
Boom.
Pour over. The funny thing is, I went to the beach the other day, and I didn't want to drink a shit ton, and it was this 10%. So I literally, I took two glasses with ice in it, and I poured half in mine and half into my girlfriend's.
Are there any
And
cold
we had
right
one.
now
It was
then?
like it was so refreshing because then you're 5%, but it was like
Grab a couple
we had.
Oktoberfest.
And then I say that, and we had like
Please, sir.
we had like 4 or 5 of them. But,
Yeah.
but still, though, it was like, but it was like refreshing as hell, and it was just nice.
We call that an iceberg.
Yeah.
The iceberg.
Yeah, it's like you guys want to turn this into a real cocktail. You just have like slide them a shot of vodka or something across the bar.
Just
Blam.
a double shot of tequila across the bar.
Yeah.
Are you guys?
Why do you choose not to sell the spirits in the tap room?
So our thing is because
Is
I
it a
wanted-
legal thing or a choice?
no,
thing?
it's a choice
Okay.
thing. There's
Yeah.
breweries here in the state that sell straight vodka, right?
Yeah.
But I really want to take the craft aspect seriously, and we're sourcing our agave wine, we're sourcing our vodka,
Yeah.
because we make too much of it. Our small still that we've used
Mhm.
won't be able to make that much. I wouldn't feel craft if I was just sourcing a vodka and then pouring it across the bar to somebody. I'm not doing anything to it to make it my own,
Okay.
right? So at some point we will have straight spirits, at least in the
Eventually,
tap room, to have shots or have.
Oh, you doing you breaking up the October? Oh, wow.
Wow,
Hold
look
on,
at that.
you know it's July 27th right now, right?
I do. I'm doing this for you.
That's why I said I
Well,
literally.
I learned it by watching you.
Some
So
airs really on what, Saturday?
I'm telling you, literally, we have not had. This is our.
Will it
This
be
is
Oct-
our first Oktoberfest that we had. Literally,
No,
shared like
Monday
a
is August.
That's-
I thought you were
yeah,
getting
I'm in
to-
July
I thought you were
still.
getting
Oh,
to
man.
August.
God.
This is our first we've had.
We'll
Yeah.
just cut the camera feed when I drink it, and we'll act like.
I like we poured
I-
this right into a Cantorito glass. Too.
Yes.
It's gonna be the sweetest Oktoberfest we've
Yeah,
ever had.
yeah. So yeah, it's funny that
The merging of the two, Cinco de October.
I did give mine a good rinse
Okay,
before.
there you go. That's
nice,
fair.
okay. So you're ahead of the game. There you go.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
I was waiting
I
to see
did
if
it.
he'd actually do it because he's the one that had the
Yeah.
biggest embargo. I
Yeah.
agree because I'm
But
also
like, yeah, but let's
I'm
say-
tired
see
of
our
the seasonal
plight,
creep.
right?
But that's
We can't-
I know.
because
I know, man.
Total Wine is only going to put 3 brands stacked out.
Okay.
That's all they're going to ever do.
Yeah.
So if you've already got Yingling and Sam Adams out there this week, we've got to be out there that week.
You
to-
got to be
to
there.
be that third brand.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to go to whoever else beats us. To
And
it.
also too, I mean, like we ship something, and then it takes a week for them to get it out. Then
Sure.
so we lose 3 weeks on everything we ship
Yep.
out anyway. Right?
And again, we have to remember that we're
I'm in the clear, Tim. I'm
The
just gonna
he's
drink.
drinking
I'm
a
just
Marzen.
drinking a Marzen.
right.
What you guys are doing?
Totally not Oktoberfest.
I mean,
not.
you ship something in June and it gets to
Yeah.
the store in October
Yeah.
anyway, right? I mean,
Right,
It's like crazy.
right.
So
All right,
It's on
fine.
it's on the floor. People can buy it. They don't have to drink it right now.
Yeah, get it.
Put it in your
You'll be
fridge.
ready.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
make
yeah,
sure you get it.
Yeah,
Make
yeah.
sure you get it.
Get you some beer to drink now and some beer to drink in like 8 months.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not 8, but how
Yeah.
was it? 3,
We're
2?
close to
Four.
just being a month and a week,
yeah.
or a month and a
week. Yeah.
not even a full week to get
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
get there,
We're
huh?
5 weeks away.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Pollinger's Oktoberfest is available year round.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
It
think
is.
some of
Okay.
them are.
Yeah.
Yeah, polliners is year round.
And if it's, I was thinking about it, it's like when we drink Oktoberfest, like right at the end of the year, if it were around and I had it, but by the time it's actually cold outside, I've moved on.
Yeah,
I want
yeah.
Yeah, you want heavy
Everybody got some
styles
of
or-
this?
Yeah.
So-
And I got it. See, I like the seasonality of serving. I like to look forward to this.
Yeah.
When the McRib comes back, I'm excited,
You want
man.
one?
You know, it's like I like
Okay.
these limited edition.
Well,
Things.
What Trey was saying, it's like Sam Adams. I mean, they're back in June now. I think they're
See,
doing it so
nuts.
early because they need to be the first,
Yeah.
and so they.
The only
Yeah.
the only people that are very strictly traditional is Keller Weiss because they launch that
Okay.
shit on like spring baseball day every year.
Boom.
And they are boom springtime,
Good.
boom
There you
springtime,
go.
boom. They are legit. Never a week early, never a week late. It's like the first like launch of the baseball, and they're like it's the only true one.
But they're not doing their Oktoberfest this year. I mean, they didn't do Summerfest this year.
Okay.
Oh,
About it.
okay.
They did.
Yeah.
They did summer IPA.
I haven't heard if they're doing like the collab version this year. Do you know?
I
If
have
they've
not
been
heard
doing-
anything.
I
That's a
haven't
good
heard.
question.
Yeah.
Did they do one last year? I can't remember. I thought they did it. I
either.
thought they did them for a couple of years, and they may have stopped during
They did
the pandemic.
Bitburger
Or
with Bitburger one year, I think. Is
yeah,
that right?
I'm
Do you
trying to
know? Is
remember.
that right? Yeah.
Was it Bitburger and was it Polliner? Who? No. It was
one
the
knows.
who is the which one is the oldest? The oldest one because they did the one with the oldest brewery.
We're on like one day.
I can't think of the name right now.
Trey, I've just been kind of chatting, man. But is there anything that you want us to make sure we mention here? Win, Trey, Ryan, anything you want us to make sure we cover?
I don't think so. I'd like
Alright.
to talk about Lechuza before we end the evening.
Sounds good.
Um,
Do we have cold Lechuzas? Let's do that then. Let's get some of those out.
Yeah, let's hammer these and drink.
That
some
way I don't have to
Lechuza.
admit.
Yeah,
I
you want
don't
some
have to
more
admit I
Canada?
drank Oktoberfest.
It's out over all of the various social media
go.
streaming services.
Yeah.
Tim, it's known.
Cut. Send
Send
a
the
few
picture
around.
one more
Send a
time real
couple
quick.
few around.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say oh boy, the amber thing. I had a question about it, but
Yeah.
like you showing up with it actually kind of answers it.
I'm
I
gonna
like.
go lime.
I knew there was a Lechuza. I knew there was a Lechuza lime, and I had a question in my notes like, is there going to be an amber? Because there's a lot of amber Mexican lagers out there. Of course, you already have one. So
and if you hold up that box, if you can. So we call it the Bandera box. Bandera means flag in Spanish, and the box is the Mexican flag.
Okay, cool.
oh, okay, cool.
So which ironically lines up with the colors of the cans. So
There we go. Yeah, no, it works out.
Yeah.
I was thinking when you said the name of the box, I thought it was a Bandolero box, and I'm like, dude, I want one with just the beers, just
we've had people call it the Bandito box.
The Bandito.
We've had people call it, yeah.
It's
called
Lechuza.
more than Lechuza.
Yeah.
There's a CH there. That's a pretty common.
Lechuza. Consummate V's. Consummate.
Just call it,
Lechuza. I
Just call it
choose a
Lechuza.
you.
yeah.
Pouring
Choose
a
to
beautiful
choose.
amber color and boasting smooth Vienna lager drinkability. Lechuza Amber pairs perfectly with rich, flavorful foods, whether that is Mexican barbacoa or Georgia barbecue.
Have we gotten to the beer?
Grab a
guys?
Lechuza Amber today.
Beer guys ready to ASMR?
Yeah,
It's-
just gonna be chugging. It'll be an hour me chugging beer and burping.
yeah. And then me
So-
scratching my beard on the mic.
Yes, yeah. I'll just
People
go.
will- Yeah,
You
people
also start
love
a
that.
TikTok if you don't have one already.
Gosh, yes, TikTok. We do not because we hate TikTok.
Yeah, yes.
We realize the
Even-
popularity of it.
Even before I realized it was just a way for the Chinese government to harvest all of your data off your
Organs.
phone
Oh, data.
and possibly organs.
Right.
I already hated it. I already hated it. And
I'm not sharing this, guys. I decided I'm not sharing.
Okay.
this.
Wow. Okay, just throwing it out
I'm
there.
digging.
Hey,
I
Here,
guess
I'll
I'll go-
share with you, Trey.
I'll go
I
amber.
appreciate
There you
that.
go.
are
man.
you gonna
Yeah.
share the amber? Or are you gonna go full on?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I might not like it. I
Let's
have
see
no
how it
idea.
goes.
Yet. I'm like, I know I like the other Lechuzas, but I've never had this.
Oh, you haven't had the amber yet?
I haven't. I didn't even know it existed.
I mean, like
My hair
I
looks
tell you,
weird.
like sometimes I go to a Mexican restaurant and I'll have a like a Dos Equis amber. Like,
Yeah.
this is my fix for that. I mean, I this is just a little much more body, a little more flavor, and I will kill this at a Mexican restaurant
Yeah.
all day long.
That's nice.
Yeah, dude,
That's
my
nice.
Cuban today was good. Like that's
Yeah.
the first time I tried that joint, but like they did the old like the foil wrap and press
Oh, yeah.
and cut it in there, so it's
Yeah.
all held together. But the pork was great. Yeah, it was
I'll have
good.
to-
I'll hit
I'll have
that
to
place
check that out.
again.
I
yeah.
love Cubans. I love a good Cuban.
Yeah.
I didn't.
It
What
was
is it I
not as
usually-
good as Havana sandwich shop.
What was
I will
the
say that,
thing
but
I
it was
usually
good.
get? Picadillo, I think is what they call it.
Picadillo.
Love that,
Yeah,
and I always get
ground,
like it.
ground chicken or ground beef.
Yeah.
It's
whichever one
beef.
you're doing.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful.
I made picadillo one time at home because it's fairly easy.
Yeah.
You know, you crock pot it
carrots
up,
and
man.
whatever,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I like I don't think a lot of people think about like meat and olives, but I love like the
Awesome.
dishes that they
Genius
do.
is
They're
what it is.
fantastic
I'm like,
together.
what?
The little twangy tangy that goes with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, now I want some picadillo, big bowl of white
Next time you're in
rice.
Athens- next time you're in
some
Athens, you
beans
gotta
and
go
rice.
to Calientitos.
Okay.
In there.
I-
Cash only Cuban spot.
I went one time and the line was horrible. People were pissy. Not the employees, just the
People.
customers. I'm just like, people just seem irritable here.
Yeah.
There was a drunk
it's
group in the
BYOB.
patio. Yeah, that's one reason we're like, oh, I'm totally down with this. So
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
why they were pissy. They didn't bring their own
People
alcohol.
passed out on the patio. You're in.
I'm
right?
over there with a huge cooler. I'm ready to party. And everybody else is there jealous. So
Yeah, once I had the pecadillo at the Havana sandwich shop, I couldn't go back. I'm like, it's the only thing I order now.
Yeah,
It's
you can
either
put it
That's
on
fine.
anything.
Hey,
You
yeah,
can eat
sometimes
it
I
any
have
way
it
you
as
want.
a plate, and sometimes I
Yeah.
have it as a sandwich, depending on how much food I want to eat.
don't ever be ashamed about getting the same thing every time. If you like it,
Yeah.
you like it.
Put
Go
it on
for
a
it.
tostada.
I'm
That's the way
very
to
much
do it.
like that, and I always get like an empanada or what's the croquette if they have
croquettes,
those too.
yeah.
But always.
you know the thing
picadillo.
about going for the same thing every time when I've tried to step out of that a few times and I've been hurt.
Yeah, that's right.
And
yeah,
so that
yeah.
just makes me when I know this is really good, like I'll look at other things on the menu. I'm like, that sounds really good. I
Yeah.
want to try that, but I know this is
But
really
what
Yeah,
are the
good.
right.
chances they do
Right.
those
Exactly.
things that well?
Yeah. I'm like,
But every now and then you get that Szechuan cumin
Cumin
fried
fish?
fish.
Yeah.
Every now and then you find that.
have you
and
been to
it changes-
Firestone
Oh,
up
yeah.
over
It
there?
changes
I
your
love
life.
that. Dry County IPA. on
That's
tap.
right. I actually
Yeah.
think did we see you there one time?
No, but
Or
you
we saw
messaged me
Steve,
that you messaged me
the
you
Dry
were going
County.
on there. Yeah.
we
Oh,
ran into
yeah.
Steve there one
Steve,
time.
Yeah.
And
And I'm like, oh hell, they got Dry County. He's like,
And it
yeah.
pairs perfectly with the Szechuan cumin fried
Dude.
Yeah.
fish.
yes.
Yeah, the hot and numbing hot
yeah.
pot, some
I didn't even-
Szechuan fish.
I didn't even realize until like a year or two ago that I'm a huge fan of Szechuan. I had it
Yeah.
in certain dishes and loved it and had no idea that was what it was. So I realized in the past 2 years I'm a big fan of that. So like if I see that on anything, I'm like, I'm getting that because I know I love
Yeah.
those
Firestone.
Szechuan peppers.
You can't beat Firestone
Yeah,
They're
Firestone's
good,
great.
man. They're
good.
they're the best
up that way.
non-boo-high place
Yeah.
that
If
I've found.
You
Yeah.
get down to Buckhead, my neighborhood, they also own a place
Urban
called
Woo.
Urban
Woo.
Woo that has
Right.
almost the same menu.
It's, Peter
Awesome.
Chang, is that was it?
That sounds right.
I
I
think
think
that's his
that's
name.
right. Yeah.
I've never looked into it. I just know
Yeah.
I like their food.
Yeah. He's good.
Yep. Nate, shall we? Fourth segment, right? Let's do it. Let's do
All
it.
right, let's get it on.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Now, back to the Beer Guys radio show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. If you enjoy the show, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/beerguys. Patrons get cool perks like Beer Guys swag and commercial-free episodes. Now let's get back to Dry County Brewing Company.
Guys, we are going to talk Mexican lagers. Is that cool?
Yeah.
That's
We'll allow
bueno. So La Chuza that we talked about in our beers of the week, we're seeing a lot more Mexican beers, Mexican lagers that are popular, and not just the clear. What a lot of people, I think, until recently, and probably still a lot of people in general, Corona is Mexican beer. These light lagers and really craft up until recently, when they did a Mexican lager, it was going to be a light clear, a claro. I think they call it Clara.
Yeah,
Claro.
Claro.
And this La Chuza is a line as your family of Mexican lagers, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Starting with the Lechuza Classic, and then we've kind of just branched off of that.
And the Lechuza Classic fits that profile we're talking about, just a light lager,
It
correct?
does, 100%. You can group that with a Modelo. We're not going to be offended by that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Just to get an easy drinking beer, right?
100%.
Get you some barbacoa, get you some southern barbecue, get you an empanada, Cuban sandwich, right?
Making me hungry.
See? Could I have that with, say, a Szechuan style spicy cumin fish?
I don't see why not.
I
Yeah.
100% agree.
Yeah, would be good.
I would
wouldn't it?
love it if he told you, no, you can't.
I'm like, all
And
right,
he just,
fair.
like,
You're gonna
he
go
just
try
shut
that.
down.
Yeah.
Don't you even try it.
Don't try it. Yeah, like I try it and I see him peeking around the corner watching me.
It's
I
like-
was like, yeah, that's my fish. But you've
now
also got
you don't get fish.
an amber, bringing a little more body, a little more color to it. Is there anything else planned for the Lechuza line, or has it hit its max?
We always have something planned for the Lechuza line.
Okay.
Lechuza's become a big part of our brewery. We launched Lechuza Classic back in 2017. That was really our answer to that. Was kind of the time we were talking about trends earlier. That was the time when people were saying craft brewing's going to start doing lagers and pilsners and lighter beers, and we didn't want to go the just standard light American lager route, which a lot of breweries were doing at the time. So our previous head of operations, the guy back then, Steve, his wife was Mexican. He and I would be hanging out at their family barbecues, and everyone was drinking Modelo and Corona and stuff like that. We were like, let's brew a Dry County beer that we can bring to these parties and people will embrace. And so that's how Lechuza was kind of born. We keep it super traditional and to style. And so we're really proud of Lechuza. It is our actual number one selling beer in our
Okay,
portfolio.
Cool.
But so we've got lime, we've got amber, which before starting Dry County, if I was at a Mexican restaurant, I was getting a 32 ounce Dos Equis amber with a lime in it. That was what I
Okay.
was getting. And so you know, we were very nervous about launching Lechuza amber. We just didn't know if it would fit. It wasn't really anything being brewed like that by a local craft brewery. But we went for it, and it's become very popular, and we're seeing it do really well. Even in the on-premise in Mexican restaurants. So that's been exciting to see for sure.
You know, Brian was talking to you earlier about Boilermakers that he liked to do. So if I took this beer and let's say I got my can of Zing Zang Bloody Mary mixer out of the fridge over here and put it in that would probably pair up pretty darn good, wouldn't it?
It for sure would. Our head of sales, Brian Lehman, he's a big Zing Zang and Lechuza guy.
Okay.
I think he sticks with the Lechuza Classic for it, or Lechuza Lime, but you could do it with the amber, no doubt.
Yeah.
No
I'm
doubt.
sipping the lime right now, and I like Brian. I think you poured the amber, right?
I did pour the amber.
Here, try this lime,
All right,
sir.
I
Try
will-
this
I
lime.
will give this a shot.
Yeah, I mean,
I am drinking the amber, and as a guy that was also a Dos Equis amber drinker for a long time, I get it. I like it a lot. It's cool to see one being made locally, because when people do the Mexican lagers, it's always the lager, the light lager side.
the light.
Right.
Always
yeah.
the light one.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying off air. Like I used to kill Dos Equis amber when I go to a Mexican restaurant. Now I'm dead. I love our Lechuza amber. It's got more body, a little more flavor.
Yeah.
And then we're doing the Lechuza lime, which it seems simple, but we're having a guy zest limes for like 2 days. We're putting fresh lime zest in. I mean,
Is it
it's
Trey?
Is
it Trey?
I wish.
Yeah.
I wish. Yeah, I'm sitting there back there
Right.
slaving my
Don't
ass.
give him an idea.
Yes, you're right. Don't tell him that. Don't tell him that.
No, but literally, I mean, we're like going to the core. We're not where we throw a little extract in just for a little aroma, like just minimal. But for the most part, it's 95%.
The real deal in
It's
there.
the
right?
real deal, and that's what makes
Yeah.
it gives it that little candy lime flavor. And I lately I've been killing it on the lake. It's just so refreshing and
It is.
so nice.
I love lime in a light beer like this, but a lot of them you get that are lime flavored do taste like
Medicinal.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's just
too
not
much
right.
extract.
This one does. This one's it's very limey. It's
Yeah.
the lime is
Because
very dry.
it's the real deal. I mean, we
Yeah.
are putting the effort, the labor, and the effort into making that the way it tastes.
See, that's it. But you know what? Everybody talks about beers, and we've got. I'm not going to justify by mentioning his name on here, but there's someone that follows us on Twitter that is very vocal about like classic beer styles, to the point where Brian will post and say, "Man, I really enjoyed this, double marshmallow chocolate stout." Because we enjoy those, man. I enjoy a nice pastry stout. I enjoy a light lager, but this guy's like, I prefer to drink real beer, and
I prefer to drink with adults.
I prefer to
Yeah,
drink
yeah.
with adults, and it's like, dude, good. Drink what you want to drink.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drink a Mexican lager with lime. I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna drink my pastry stout and love it. Barley wines. You know, there's
Yeah.
just so much out there. You don't have to choose a hill to die on with beer.
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
like
but
them all, drink them.
But on the same thing, I get it because I'm old school, like you say. Like, you know, my license says 19 on the front of it, so
Yep,
so I'm
right.
not an adjunct guy. So
Okay.
so I know you have to add adjuncts to things, but I'm going to add as little adjuncts as I can do to make that beer taste as fresh and clean as it's going to be. So when we do that lime, there's going to be the absolute minimal amount of some kind of adjunct or extract in there to make that taste fresh. Everything else is going to be pure and clean. And that's kind of where I came from. That's why I moved to Dry County, because that's just, I feel like they have that kind of, you know, interpretation of beer, where it's going. We want to be a craft brewery. That's where we are. We differentiate ourselves differently because of that, because we are pure. We are, you know, we take an effort and take maybe a little more money, but that's what happens. That's why you get that fresh taste.
Stay tuned for the 6th anniversary double marshmallow chocolate. vanilla
Yes,
exactly.
ESB.
Yeah.
That's the ESB.
ESB.
Yeah.
You were almost where I was going. I'm like, are you going to come out with a super lechuza
Marshmallow fluff.
for the
Yes, yeah.
anniversary? Possibly like inspired by elote street corn, because we've had
We
something
did
like
have
that.
an elote beer, which
We
was
did.
actually really, really
Very
good.
good, but wasn't
Yeah.
it wasn't
Tahini
a
in there,
super imperial elote street corn lechuza like it could have been. It
You know,
was
y'all,
not.
Y'all remember DKML, right? From
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So we do have a lechuza version in the works. That would
Okay.
be a
Oh,
10% Mexican lager.
Yes.
That
Okay.
I'm still trying to get Wynn's head wrapped around. But
Yeah.
we'll get there.
WWE SmackDown. Lechuza.
There we go, man.
Lechuzadora.
See,
oh yeah.
back in the
Shout out to
day,
Max on that one.
back in the day, you would find me very frequently on the weekends with 40 ounces of Old English or Sanides or something like that. There's a special place in my heart for malt liquor.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Mickey's
I'm not
action.
Mickey Big Mouth, man.
No,
You know what?
The
Yeah.
grenades. Hey, the grenades with absolutely.
You know what? I have stories for everything. One time my buddy was driving. My buddy was a non-drinker. He drank this stuff back in the 90s called Clearly Canadian, this weird bottled water stuff.
Okay.
So he'd drive. We had a place called Country Circuit that we cruised when I lived in Arkansas. We found a horse in the middle of the night at a fence, and I fed that horse 2 full Big Mouth bottles of Mickey's, and he drank them up, man. So there you go, man. I've got some great stories tonight.
That is a horse of culture.
Did you
Tim.
ride him after that? I'm
I
confused.
didn't.
What was
No,
the,
we
what's the
just
point of
hung
that
out.
story?
We just
He
hung out.
Okay, cool. All right.
By the end
he
of it,
was a
the horse
cool
was
horse.
talking.
He got the vibe. He got the Mickey's thing going on.
Do you
Everything was
never
good.
just
The
hang
oats
out-
were fine. Did you eat the
Yes.
oats too?
Do you never just hang out with a buddy because he's cool and you want to share a
Oh
beer?
hell yeah!
Okay.
Horses too.
That was
Absolutely.
me and the
Yeah, okay,
horse.
Nice. I like it.
Gosh,
So
what'd
to
you
be
do?
fair,
We
Tim,
drank beer together.
Tim said, "Have you had enough, horse?" And the horse said, "Nay."
Oh gosh,
That was awesome.
Can we
This
get a
is
sound
terrible.
effect?
Nay.
Can we get a
Can
sound
we
effect?
get a sound effect for
Yeah.
that? Oh, I don't.
Where's the
It's
cheesy?
it's that's uncalled for.
There we go.
Just uncalled for.
Yeah, but seriously, guys, yeah, the DKML stuff like that, not quite. You know, I don't sit around and drink a bunch of 40s on the weekend anymore. But again, I kind of enjoy looking back at that. We had some 40s of Old English on a Florida trip.
Oh yeah,
And,
yeah.
we're like, you know what? This isn't bad.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed. I used to do as a younger guy when I was well beyond the stage where I would have had those. We'd have 40s nights with a couple of my friends, and we just go to whatever convenience store was around and like, what can you find? We'll just drink those tonight. So those are
Yeah.
fun. They're fun. They're dangerous, but they're fun.
They're fun. Trey,
Absolutely.
what do we need to notice? What do we need to know about Dry County? We got a little bit of time left. What have we not talked about today that people need to know about you and about your brewery?
And I think we have covered a lot of bases.
We went around.
for sure.
Yeah, right.
But no, I think for me, it's kind of what we've talked about here. We like to be innovative, and really, I think that's what a craft brewery should be. And so that's what we try to do. And we try to not just pigeonhole ourselves into beer and into malt beverage. We try to, in today's day and age, you've got to go into RTDs and seltzers and ciders and all those things. So
you got to get out there, man. You
Yeah.
have to do it. You got to check it out. Guys, I want to thank you so much for joining us. Trey Sinclair, Wynn Chastain,
Thank you very much.
Ryan Polk. Guys, thanks for joining us and sharing your beers and your story.
appreciate you having us on.
Absolutely. Well, you know what, Brian? That about wraps it up for this episode of the Beer Guys Radio Show. Join us next week as we talk to Paradoilia Brewing. I hope I said that right. We'll find out. For more craft beer info, follow us online. We are Beer Guys Radio on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Have a great week. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to drink local. Cheers.
Cheers.
Boom, 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 boom.
How'd we do?
Well, we did all right.
We did good.
We're
We
still
did
streaming.
good.
Hey guys, thanks for hanging with us.
Yes.
Do we have any of that line
are.
left? I want some of that.
Facebook.
Or the regular. I haven't had the
Everybody
regular in
watching the
ages.
live stream, thank you so much. Mute everybody else real quick, Nate. Y'all, thanks so much for joining us for the live stream. We hope you come back and hang with us next week, and you have some great beers this week. Cheers.